Hello everyone. I am so glad you have joined me today. I love sharing my ideas with you and I hope I inspire you with today's creation. This is the card that I made for today. And I know you're going to want to make this project yourself, so you can order the supplies from my online store. The link is below. Go over and check out the blog post for it. And at the bottom underneath the pictures are the products. You just click on the product and it takes you right to my store and you can order it. So for today's card, I used the Bloom and Grow stamp set, and I specifically used this image and the thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now normally that image would go across the bottom. I decided to try it along the side, and I went back to a technique I haven't done in a while. I did my coloring with glycerin. So let's pull in our measurements. And the first thing you need to do is you need to take a piece of Whisper White that's 3 3/4 by 5, and I stamped the image using Memento Tuxedo Black ink. All right, I'm going to pull in a block that I need, and I need to clean this one. And right in the center of this, I'm going to put just a couple of drops of glycerin. I love this technique. It's so much fun to play with. All right, and I'm grabbing a piece of scrap paper because I'm going to have to clean off my blender pen in between. Then I'm going to take Pool Party and I'm going to tap some of that up here in this corner. I'm going to take Cherry Cobbler and I'm going to tap that down here in this corner. I used crushed curry. Oops. You know what? I used Bumblebee. Let me switch out rather than the crushed curry. I used crushed curry on that, but I'm going to swap it for the Bumblebee. So I'm going to put a blob of it there. And my last color was Old Olive, and I'm going to add some of that over here. And I've used different parts of my block. That way I don't have to clean it in between. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do all my little berries, so to speak. So I'm going to pick up some glycerin, bring it down here, and just kind of mix it in. And then I'm going to color my berries. If you want it darker, don't pull the ink out so far. You can make it as light or as dark as you want. If you want it lighter, pull the glycerin out further. Darker, don't pull out as far. See how I got that one dark? Because I went down into the glycerin some. And then that one's light. So just keep that in mind. And I just love the soft look you get using the glycerin for the coloring. All right, I'm going to move that over just a bit and turn this and see. All right, I don't have any more berries, so I'm taking my blender pen and I'm going to go over and I'm going to scribble till it runs clear. All right, pull my block back in, and now I'm going to do my leaves. So I'm going to take my glycerin and pull it into my ink, and you can tell when you need to ink it up again. All right, there's one here. All right, there's one. I knew there was one down here. It was like confusing. You got all these little pieces going everywhere down here. All right. And I probably put down more ink on my block than I needed, but that's okay. see, that one needs to be a little darker, so I'm gonna pull it in. And the beauty of doing it with glycerin is, excuse me, if you need to darken it, you just pull in more ink. All right, now there's one here. And I'm gonna grab some more ink and mix it in. Do this one up here. And I just keep going back to my palette, so to speak, and picking up the ink so that I have it on my tip. And I just color away. All right, I think I have all my leaves. All right, so I'm going to scribble this until it runs clear. And I do try and keep my tips separate. When your blender pen runs out, save it and use it for this. And then you can have, excuse me again, a different color for each end. All right, I'm going to do the yellow flowers next. So I'm going to make sure there's no red on this end. All right, I'm going to take my, now these are probably going to be brighter than the ones that I have on my original card, but that's okay. I love kind of playing with colors for the season. It's fall right now, so I'm looking at reds and greens and yellows and browns, all those fun colors. All right, okay, gotta get some more in here. And I'm gonna go back over it because it wasn't very dark. Pulling in some more because I do have plenty of ink on my block to do this with. Okay, so there's that one, and now I'm going to do the one at the other end, and I'm going to get a little bit more glycerin. It doesn't take much glycerin. And get your glycerin from the from Walmart because it's cheaper. You have to go into the pharmacy section and pick it up, and it looks like that. I bought some at the grocery store because I needed it and I couldn't get down to Walmart, and it was expensive. So get it from Walmart because it's cheap, cheap, cheap. All right, and I'm trying to see. All right, there's that. And I think there's some over here. There's a couple of spots there. All right, I'm looking at my images to see if I got it all. Yep. All right, let me move that, only because I don't want to get it on my project. Let me clean my blender pen, and now we're going to start with the red, and this is Cherry Cobbler, and I'm gonna, now this will dry a little lighter, so if you want it really dark, really pull in the red. There's a little tiny tip under there and there. All right. And if you need to go back and kind of fill in spots, you can do that. It's not that big of a deal. You just go back and figure out where you need to put it and fill it in. And I kind of avoided the centers because I wanted them to stay white, so to speak. So but you can go back over it. I wouldn't go over it too many times. Your paper will pill. And if you want a shimmery look to it, use the shimmery white paper. That would be gorgeous. I didn't think of that. That would have made a great card to have, because it'll have the shimmer and shine, which is always so much fun, in my estimation anyway. All right. And I know this is kind of long and you're thinking, okay, just go ahead, get on with it, get on with it. You do have to allow it to dry some after you've done your coloring, so keep that in mind. What I did was I created my images and then I cut all my paper yesterday. So it had time to dry. This one I will just have to be really careful. I've got my papers cut, but I can take and put them together. Okay, there's that one. I'm going to move that way away so I don't put anything in it. And the red takes longer to come out, so take your time and scribble away, because it will stain your blender pen, for lack of a better term. But if you get it all out so that it runs clear, what happens is it just stains it and it won't come back out. You'd hate to be coloring something a real pretty green and have red come through. So I try and keep my colors in spots that, see, this one has a lot in it. I'm going to have to, it's getting there. All right, I've got it out enough that I think I'm okay until the video's over, and I can take and clean it up then. All right, so what I need to do now, and I've got a couple of little spots there, so I may have to hide that with some rhinestones. All right, I'm going to take my sentiment and I'm going to ink it up with the Memento ink, and I'm going to stamp it right there. And I hid that one so nobody even knows that there's a piece there. All right. Now I'm going to pull in all my layers. I'm going to set this up here to dry a little bit. My card base is Cherry Cobbler, and it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Oh, I have scrap, and I don't need a scrap, so there's no scrap needed on that. I guess I forgot to take it off. All right, the next one is my Bumblebee layer, and it's 4 by 5 1/4. And then all my layers go down by 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to put this one on, and I'm going to center it side to side, top to bottom. When I get one side set up, I hold it and release. All right. Next is the Garden Green, and it is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So I'm going to add it. And again, get your one side straight and then release it. I kind of top and side to side, but I watch this one side because I have a tendency to have it crooked over here. Okay, the last one is our image layer, and I'm going to take and add my glue. I'm trying not to move it around too much. Okay, so I've got it. Just in case it's a little wet somewhere, I don't want to smear it. All right. Okay, put that in place. And when I was all finished, it needed something. So I pulled in the holiday rhinestone jewels, specifically the cherry cobbler ones, and I added some rhinestones just for some interest and to give it a little bling. So I'm going to add one there, and then I went to the little ones because there's tons of little ones, not many big ones. Okay, all right, got that. I'm going to put one there, and I need one more, and I'm not going to worry about that spot. I'm going to put that other one right there. And there you go. And don't forget to do the inside in the envelope, and I use the same technique with stamping with Memento and using the glycerin to color. Now when you go over to order your supplies, take a look at my loyalty program. I reward people who order from me. Check out the program while you're there so that you know what to expect when you place your order. I would love to have you help me out on YouTube. Make sure you click the subscribe button below so you don't miss my videos. If you want to be notified when I upload a video, click the bell next to it. Thanks for visiting me today. Have a great day.